between, it's about a 5-hour drive, and from between Hawthorne and or Las Vegas and Hawthorne, you see, like, granted everything's closed right now because of COVID, but you see all the fucking brothels. They're just pretty crazy. I never seen one
You
here
know,
in
it's
the
funny.
States.
Usually I do like a special intro and let you know we're recording before we start, but
Mhm.
I just started going because we're already off on like a thing. I'm like, I just not even a point in interrupting this flow, I would say. You mentioned arm wrestling. What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, I know. I noticed the biceps, people on
I'm
Spotify.
sitting, yeah, I'm sitting in good lighting, but my biceps actually aren't that good. It's just
I
like,
like mine are just like
you
small
need
enough.
better lighting. There, you got good
I
biceps, bro.
tried. Well, I mean, I'm ripped. I'm just not big. I'm not into the whole. I would
Yeah,
like
but
giant
you're
ass
like, you're
arms.
young. How old are you? You're looking really,
22.
yeah, I'm 44. So like,
I'd have to do with anything. I could do enough steroids.
no, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, like, it's harder, I think, when you're young as a guy. Dude, I literally could not put on weight until I was 38.
I
Like,
look, all right. So I'll tell you, I'm a big fitness guy. Anybody that listens will know that I've worked out every day for 8 years, even during COVID, had a key to my gym. Last time I'm going to say it ever on the podcast for people listening. I know I've said it for the past 100 episodes. Workout addiction. The thing is, I have thought, like, you know what? I've always had a six pack. Might as well just try and bulk up and get like big, massive. But then once I start doing that, I regret it because like I'm body dysmorphic. So it's like, fuck. As soon as you start putting on weight, it's like, I want to take it off immediately. I want to go back to the six pack thing. I'm like,
yeah,
hmm.
that's something I like to call goal hijacking, meaning it's in the fitness world, right? It's really hard. For instance, like, especially, I mean, I guess you could probably say that anything, but directly related to getting stronger, faster, in shape, the correlation of, there's a saying that's like, the things that we often appeal to our touch is not the same thing that appeals to our vision, right? And I mean, vision, like our sight, like what we like to look at and what we like to feel are usually two different. For instance, like my wife, like, she likes how she looks when she's really lean, but I like how she feels when she's got a little extra,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
butt. You know what I mean? But with guys, what you're saying is very, very common. Goal hijack. I do it fucking all the time, and I know I can swear, right? I can swear in here. Um, uh, but I do it all the time because you get into this thing where you're like, oh, I want to have abs, so I'm gonna not eat as much, and then you watch your strength go down, and then you look good with it, with no shirt on. You know what I mean? But then you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, I'm weak, and you're like, fuck it, I need to get stronger, so I need to eat more, and then your abs start going away, and then you're like, whoa. So it's just goal hijacking, which you're in this kind of snowball effect of never really reaching your goals. And the
Yeah.
reality is, people say, well, how do you break that? You're going to have to, when you want to be lean, you're going to have to be leaner than you probably wanted to. And if you want to get bigger, you're going to probably have to be fatter than you probably wanted to. You know what I'm saying? There's a give and take for everything.
Yeah,
So
it's like when you see somebody in the gym that's bench pressing like two plates, but they're like 285 pounds. You're like, there is a reason why you should at least be able to do a push up. That's kind of like doing a push up. I mean, I
yeah,
can, I used to be able to bench two plates before I had this like spine injury, which you want to talk about fucking watching your strength go down, dude. All my
mm,
power from that shit. Like I used to be able to do two plates. Now I'm at a plate and like maybe 10 pounds on each side. But I mean, for 135, I've stayed consistent. So like doing
mm,
two plates was like a fucking like I guess tremendous thing to be able to do. But
yeah.
then with the whole injury and shit, it's like fuck. It's like which is really interesting because when I was I've talked to someone who's professionally arm wrestled before, which is I mean, would you say that's what you do professionally?
I mean, dude, right? Dude, I've been unemployed for the last year. I like, my whole background's strange, man. I actually started as a child martial artist. I was actually one of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the TV show on the stunt team. And
Wait, were you
like,
actually on camera? Because I was wondering why your face looked really fucking
no, I was
familiar.
never on camera. I did stunt work. I worked for Saban Entertainment, who did the Power Rangers from '96 till 2001. So I did Power Rangers, Big Bad Beetleborgs, and the Ninja Turtles, all on
Which Ranger?
Fox. Anyone they needed me to, as a stunt man. I just did any. I came. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a
I'm a
stunner.
child of '97, so I'm
Mhm.
thinking that one of those stunts I saw on one of my favorite Rangers, which was the Blue Ranger, you were probably that guy.
I could have been. I
You're
did.
my
I
hero.
did. I did a tour from, dude, it was funny, man, because I did a tour primarily, and promoting the Power Rangers Turbo movie. So, dude, for like a year, man, that fucking song gave me anxiety because it was that, go, Power Rangers Turbo, go. And it was just like, and dude, anytime I heard that song, I was always like, because I was like 21, 22 at the time, and it was cool. I was touring the US with a couple Asian dudes. And we would literally just go to fucking strip clubs, and the girls would be there and be like, why are you here with these Asian guys? And I'm like, we're actually the Power Rangers. And they're like, bullshit. I'm like, I swear to fucking God. And they're like, dude, bullshit. And I'm like, look, come with me. And dude, I'd go to the car and we had our 8x10s that we would autograph to people. And they're like, oh my God, my kids love you. And I'm like, trade you for some lap dances. And so like that was my 20s, like 21 to 23, going to strip clubs and trading strippers lap dances for Power Ranger 8x10s.
God damn, dude, I need to get my life on track, man. Holy crap.
No, I do too. I peaked from there. It's been a shit show since then. So, like I said, when you asked me what I do professionally, I actually I work for if you add them together, I worked 22 years for Universal Studios as a performer, as a stuntman, singer, host, entertainer for Universal Studios for 22 years between Orlando, LA, and in Singapore. I actually just moved back to the US a year ago. I've been living in Singapore for the last 10 years. So, yeah.
What's been your favorite part about that adventure? Like, best thing you've ever worked in doing that?
I don't know, man. It always came easy for me. Do you know what I mean? To be in front of people, talking to people. I never was shy. Like I never had jitters. Like I actually felt better. Like when I was when I was in high school, and people I'm from Pittsburgh, right? So when I moved to Orlando at 18. And I was just actually about to turn 18. I was 17. I never went to the cap and gown. I was just like, I had this thing where I'm like, I cared what people thought of me. I cared what people thought, like, and it's the biggest thing. If I ever go, when I meet younger people, I've been a director and stuff too, directing performers and stuff and younger performers, and people are like, what's your advice? And I'm like, do not give a fuck about people pleasing. That's my advice in anything.
That's the best advice I've ever gotten, and I'm so happy I figured that out so early in life. Because let me tell you something, my whole thing with the gym was based on I cared exactly what people thought of me. I was made fun of as a kid through school being overweight, and then I slimmed. I got to the point where I was eating an apple a day my junior year, and I got taller, which slimmed me out. Then I just was, calorie restricting. Like the reason why I don't go up in weight at all is like I eat maybe 800 calories a day, and that's a fucking lot for me. Like a can of tuna.
Right now, you're still eating that?
A can of tuna is 100, or you want to say 100 calories, depending on what can you get, plus a little small thing of kale for each meal. And I only have 3 meals a day, and that fills me up. So it's like that's at least maybe a little bit under 800. So it's like, but that's a lot compared to what I was doing before, where it was only like maybe 90.
That's so bad. That's so bad though. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's so.
I'm cold all the fucking time. Don't even get me wrong.
Yeah. No, dude, because I do intermittent fasting, and it's just something I've been doing since like before it was cool. And I actually worked directly with one of the guys who pioneered it back in like 2010. And one of the things when you get into a deep fast, I'm like, it's like 18 hours in. The most I did was 96 hours. I did a 96-hour in a row fast just with water. And but dude, by the end of it, I was like euphoric, dude. I swear my vision was better. I could hear really good. I was like, there's something to that. But anyway, but dude, one of the things around 18 hours in, your fucking fingertips get numb. Like you touch someone, right? And they're like, what are you, like a fucking, you kind of already got that Edward Cullen Twilight look to you. So I would just play that up.
Thank fucking God you said that over the other one. I hate what everybody else calls me.
What's the other one?
Fucking Tom Holland.
You do look like Tom Holland.
Fuck.
He's good looking though, bro.
No, dude, I had literally, I'll send you the exact text, and nobody believes me until I send them the text. My mom had messaged me saying your aunt just sent this to me and asked if you're doing acting. And it was the new movie with Tom Holland in it. And the way he's angled looks like kind of me. And I'm like,
No, you do. Yeah, you guys, you definitely have. That's why as soon as you got on, I was like, now you said it, I'm like, oh, that's you kind of
look,
look
I
like Tom
like the
Holland.
Power Rangers. Don't make me fucking hate them right now by saying I look like Tom Holland.
Dude, that's a fucking compliment. It's not like I
No,
told you you look
Toby
like Joe
Maguire,
Pesci
Joe
or like
Pesci, Gary Busey. I'll take over Tom fucking Holland,
or Gary Busey's son. That's even fucking worse.
dude. Gary Busey's a trip.
Yeah. Or
That's
Jeff
what.
Daniels. If I said, dude, you look like a young Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber, that would be bad. Tom Holland, just take the fucking compliment, kid.
You understand that at any moment you could have had a bad slip up as a stuntman and ended up like Gary Busey.
Yeah. No, I know. I could have. Yeah.
What's the most dangerous thing you've ever been involved with?
A relationship with a Lebanese girl.
I mean, I guess that's a stunt. Surprised you hung in there for 11 years.
No, not that. No, that was about 2 years. That was about a year and a half, 2 years. It was hard. I
Wait,
don't
the
know.
girl was 11 years old?
No,
Oh,
no.
I'm fucking confused.
Yeah, dude, and I'm running for office.
Joe Biden. He's the
Yeah,
Zodiac killer. I'm fucking
yeah.
telling you.
See, I told you this would be like I said. You told me we're gonna bring about arm wrestling, and I'm like, bro, we're probably gonna fucking talk any fucking arm wrestling
I'm
stuff.
just fucking clueless. I like when you ask people about like, what do you want to be, son, when you grow up? And they're like, I want to be a professional arm wrestler. That's something a fucking kid was saying. Then I'm looking at videos with people with one arm looked like they injected the biggest drum of oil in there, and their
Yeah,
other arm's really small. But then like that's just from training. Do you always hit arm day? Is that what's up?
yeah. Every day's arm day. Every day's hand day. Hand. No, okay. So here's the first one. Number one, okay. I don't make. This is what's. Let me back up. So, like I said, the last year of my life, I've been unemployed. Moved back from Singapore because my mom was ill, and so I was taking care of her. Thought, okay, you know what? I met my wife in Singapore, and everyone's like, oh, she's Asian. I'm like, actually, she's from Michigan. But my wife and I moved back here. We're like, we hadn't had Christmas or Thanksgiving or none of those holidays together, And so I'm like, we're going to chill. I'm going to be off from September to like December, January, and then I'll start looking for work. Earth shuts down. So I've been literally looking for a job for the past year. I actually just got hired. Actually, I just got a job on Monday. I got a job offer on Monday.
What is it?
I'm actually going to be working for Burberry. Do you know Burberry? The like clothing line, like they make bags and shit, like
Oh,
like
no way.
designer. Yeah, I got hired for Burberry International, so I'm gonna be doing customer service shit for them. Yeah,
Oh, dude, you know how awesome that would be. You're on the phone talking to somebody, they're fucking pissed off at you, yelling at you, and they meet you in person. They're like, fuck, I take it all back. Please sign my Power
I'm not
Rangers
that big,
t-shirt.
man. I'm not that. Oh yeah, maybe. I mean, I could kick him in the head. Still, I mean, I'm so flexible. But no. So basically, the whole thing with arm wrestling stuff is it's crazy, man. Is because in the last year of my life, the only thing I've had, for lack of better words, fruit in, is arm wrestling, dude. It's like I've got to meet all these celebrities in the world. I've been getting sponsorships, free merchandise, things like that. So it's been I don't want to. It's way more than a hobby to me, but I'm not making money off of it. You know what I mean? So I can't say I do that professionally. But again, it's one of those things that we could go down that rabbit hole when someone says, what do you do? Well, everyone always usually answers it with their line of work. For me, even when I loved what I did as a job, I never considered that the thing that defined me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if someone says, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a husband. Like my wife and that's my biggest accomplishment. Anything past that, it doesn't really matter. What do I do for a living? We mean what do I make to make money? That's totally different than what do I do?
I guess
You know,
that's I guess that's a good point because I've always tried to figure out a better way to structure that
and I
question.
hate it. There's no better way, but it's everyone does it.
But I think the factor of when I ask, like, what do you do is more like, what are you interested in? Which I've rarely
Yeah.
gotten that answer ever. Everybody always leads off with like the job title thing. And
Yep.
it's like,
Always.
I really honestly prefer, because I feel like when somebody starts talking about their job, most of the time it's just people that aren't happy doing what they're doing. They're just doing it to
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
paycheck. But I want to
Yeah.
see what makes your eyes light up. I want to see what
How
makes you
about this? Say
fucking
this to
wound up.
somebody. Yeah. Say this to somebody. Hey, instead of asking me, what do you do? What are your gifts?
What are your gifts?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm good at claw machines.
That's pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
want a
See, I always say
laptop.
I'm good at like opening jars and talking to people. That's what I'm good at.
I like that. That's a good thing you put on a resume. I would still lead off with the Power Rangers thing. That's fucking amazing.
Well, again, it's cool. Like, yeah, if you're born in like '94 to like, you know what I mean. If you're born in like 90 to, oh yeah, dude, I'm your fucking hero.
Do you know
Anything
how
past
many
that, it's like,
fucking millennials are probably owning businesses now because their parents handed it to them? You would get in
yeah,
anywhere.
yeah, no, well, that's true. Maybe that's I haven't gone down that angle at all. So, um, no, but like I said, with the arm wrestling thing, it's just something I got into when I was a kid. And my grandmother was a steel worker, right? And so dude, I think I was like probably like 14 before I could beat her. And it was one of those things, people arm wrestle. Like, I think girls have arm wrestled, over, what lipstick to put on, you know what I mean, or whatever. But and it was just one of those things through high school. Like, I could beat people, and I'm not big. I was always in high school like 5'6", 140, I'm like 5'8", 190 right now. And and probably like 10 pounds of that's COVID fat and Taco Bell. But, it was just something I was always kind of good at. When I moved to Florida, I found that there was actual competitions, and I was driving from Orlando to Jacksonville to go train like once a week, on an actual table, learning the rules and everything like that. And I entered a tournament. I lost because there's technical stuff, fouls and this and that, and I didn't really know the rules too well. And then the next two tournaments I entered, I won. I was a state champion at 70 kilos, which is 154 pounds. That was my natural weight. I woke up at that weight. And I was a amateur state champ for 2 years in a row in Florida. And then another thing, so while I was doing Power Rangers, working with Universal, I was also working for the circus. I did hand balancing acts. So in hand balancing, your hands like this on the ground. You know what I mean? Here's the ground, your hands like that. Because of arm wrestling, my range of motion I was losing range of motion this way because everything I was doing was like this.
Yeah.
And at one time I fell in my act and during a show. And I don't actually remember if it was during a show or rehearsal, but it was people watching. And I remember saying I felt sick. And I knew what it actually was. I knew it was because of the arm wrestling stuff. So literally, I quit. And because it was like, do I keep working for Cirque du Soleil and do these stunt work, or win free T-shirts and plastic trophies? So the idiot in me kept working with Cirque du Soleil, and then so I took 17 years off. And then so 2 years ago, I was in Singapore, and I'm like, you know what? I want to do something competitive again, because this is the thing, man. As you get older, when you're young, especially as a guy, and like there's obviously an age gap between us, but you seem like a sharp person. And but it's like I'm old fashioned for the fact is I'm like, I don't know. I think I think men and women are different. It's crazy, but I think men and women are different. There are things that my wife is so much better at me than, you know what I mean? And then there's things where I feel like, yeah, and that's what makes our relationship awesome. But, uh, I think, I don't know, like I said, it's one of those things where, all the, I wanted to be competitive because I'm like, man, I'm 40 in my 40s. Really, when you're in your 40s and you're married, and you're like, what's you don't have that same drive when you're like looking for ass when you're like in your 20s, you know what I mean? And it's easy to be like, dude, I'm gonna go to the gym because I'm getting laid tonight,
Yeah.
or we're going to the club Friday. When you get older, you kind of don't. And that's where they always make those memes, you'll see like a gorilla, he's jacked, and then it says gorilla single, gorilla married, and it's just like he's just a fat piece of shit sitting there. Those memes are fucking real, and because that's kind of,
We have
that's
so
kind
much
of,
more time when you're single to put more work into yourself and
and
trying to
everything. Exactly.
attract something. And then once you get it, it's when it all starts to fall apart. But what you said
Exactly.
about when you were stayed with the stunts, like stayed with doing the circus stuff, like
Hmm.
you said that because you were an idiot. I don't think it's because you're an idiot. I just think
I was
because,
joking.
yeah,
I
no, but I
was
was saying
joking.
because the factor of a paycheck, man. It's just,
No, I was being facetious. I
yeah.
was just like, yeah, no, who's going to turn down doing stunt work, working for Universal, Cirque
Well,
du
that's
Soleil?
what sucks is what I'm saying is that the factor of like choose to, like, so many people neglect their passions or neglect something they really, really want to do, like arm wrestling, for instance, just
Mm,
because a paycheck is something you need to live by. It's like, fuck, if
yeah.
we could just literally not worry about money so much as people, like the world didn't run on it so much, more people would be fucking happier if they could do what the fuck they want.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. I mean, that's the key, dude. Like, you hear all those cliche things when if you find something you love doing, it's never really work. If you love what you do for a living, you'll do it really. And here's the thing, everyone says that kind of thing. And I'll give you a great piece of advice my mom gave me, and it stuck with me forever. Is when I got out of perform again so I moved out to Vegas I was hired for do one of the Cirque du Soleil shows out here, right?
Okay.
At the time, the guy I was going to do the show with, nice. He'd been working with Cirque for like 7 years. He ended up getting cast as they rebooted in 2007. The American Gladiators TV show. So he says to me, Jason, I got cast on a TV show. I got to take it. And I'm like, I get it. Cirque's looking at me going, we don't want to lose you, but I wasn't an acrobat. I didn't like tumble or shit like that, to be an ensemble person. And they're like, what do you know about nightclubs? I'm like, nothing. I've been drunk at them, that's in there. Like, they give me a one sheet. They said they're going to be opening a nightclub and it was called Revolution at the time. And they give me a sheet of paper and it's all these jobs: bartender, security, bar manager. I'm like, bro, I never done any of that shit. I've been a fucking Power Ranger. I was John Connor in the
That's
Terminator
all you
show.
fucking need, man.
Yeah, but I'm saying I was, John Connor and Wolfman and Dracula. This is my resume. What the fuck does that mean to a regular person? And
Whoa, you
but
said John Connor.
yeah. So have you ever been to Orlando? Did you ever see the
Okay,
Terminator
I'm
show?
sorry. I'm thinking I was talking to the guy who was in Terminator 2 right now. I thought I was
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to
yeah.
that kid.
Yeah, that is who I'm talking about.
You were John Connor in Terminator 2.
The show at Universal Orlando.
I meant the real movie.
No, 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 no.
I was
Even
about to
me and
say,
Eddie. No,
fuck.
no, no, no. That's
That's
Ed
a big
Furlong.
thing in my household, like, because my
No,
brother looked like him for so long. So everybody was
yeah.
like, "You're John Connor." Okay.
Well, so did I. So yeah, so in 1996, that's pretty much what changed my life. 96, I got cast to do to open the Terminator shoot, the Terminator T2 3D in Orlando, and like I said, from there I just got to meet. That's how I got Power Rangers. It really opened. Again, it's all who you know, man. Once you get your foot in the door, your life, again, my mom always says this to me, and it's true. Your life can change in literally by the next person you meet. You're always one person away from your next level of destiny. That's exactly how she said it. But anyway, so like I said, I got out of performing for like 5 years, man, and I was doing nightlife, and I built myself. Next thing I know, I'm a assistant general manager for a nightclub. No performing at all. And out of the blue, I got a call to go to Singapore, and I had just got offered this assistant general manager job. Now, one of them is a lot more money and stability, the manager job. The other one is going to Singapore, at 32 years old, 33, what I was just turning. And I remember it was like 2:45 in the morning because I had to tell Singapore by 6 p.m. What my decision was, and it was like I waited till the last minute. I'm like, so I called my mom at like 2:45 in the morning, and I'm like, Mom, I still don't know. And she's like, Jason, which would you do for free? And dude, it was like instant clarity.
That's
Instant
how I
clarity.
had. I had a moment in my life before COVID really kind of cracked down and everything was just kind of closing a little bit. I
Yeah.
worked at a casino. Well,
Okay.
fucking body dysmorphic guy over here / also hates uniforms. Putting on a belt and tucking in a shirt is the
Yeah.
worst fucking thing you can do. I hate things that
Yeah.
are tight. I always wear loose stuff.
Yeah.
So when everything kind of shut down and then we were coming back to work, I was sitting there. I was like, I love the people there. I love the job, and it's good money, great career. But I had so many people coming up to me like that worked there for like 30 something years. And they're like, you don't want to be here. You don't want to stay here. This isn't
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
something like we wish we would have got out, but we got stuck in it.
Yeah.
So I got a job at a gym, something that was comfortable and known to me where I
Yeah.
could wear whatever clothing I fucking wanted if I want to. And it's like,
Yeah.
you got to do that. I mean, that's like a small little thing in the aspect of what I want to actually do with my life. But it was like, you don't want to sit there and keep being miserable every single day just because of a paycheck. That's
Yeah.
fucking no way to live. And most people live that way.
Yeah. Well, and again, me and my friend talk about this stuff all the time. It's like, say you live in Miami, and I'm like, what do you love? Oh, I love skiing.
Cocaine.
When I'm skiing, yeah, cocaine. Yeah, yeah. If then you go, I'd say stay in Miami. But you're like, I love skiing. You know what I mean? I just, every time I'm on the mountains, I just like, I don't have a problem in the world. I feel exhilarated. And I'm like, but you live in Miami. I know, but dude, your life is too fucking short. Life is not a rehearsal. Your life is too short to not do shit that makes you happy. You got to do shit that makes you happy. That's just it. Or next thing you know, you're like, again, I always tell people, I don't regret anything I've ever done. I regret the shit I didn't do. And I make sure going forward, I try to, not worry about the shit that I can't control, and not focus on the stuff that I feel like I missed or didn't miss. You know what I mean? Because I never went to college, and that was one of those things. I literally just said this in my interview that I had the other day, and I used to think it was like the end of the world for getting like a real job, and a really smart guy said to me, multi-millionaire, and he liked me, and he said, he goes, Jason, look, man, when you go to college, they teach you what to think, not how to think. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And he goes, let me ask you something. Can you not do if you get a college dude, and I interact with them all the fucking time. You get some, typical. Again, I'm stereotyping, generalizing. Forgive me if you're at home going, man, in college, I'm smarter than you.
I can
Like,
tell you right
no,
now, I've talked to so many people with PhDs, and some of the smartest people I've met didn't have a PhD. So
yeah, because again, I
it's a
really
piece of
think
fucking
that.
paper, man.
Yeah, it is. And unfortunately, this society and everything like that, people like to focus on these things, this word, that word. And, we make a joke, when you said earlier, you're like, dude, who wants to say I'm going to be a professional arm wrestler? It's like this, though, man. This is what's fucked up about Earth right now. If I said to you, imagine I'm Men in Black flashy to you, you don't know anything. Okay. But you'll know enough to answer this question. So that's the parameter. And I said to you, Rob, I'm going to give you have two jobs to pick from. You're going to pick a job, okay? And before you answer, because you don't know what they are yet, I'm gonna give you the both jobs, okay? One job is you're gonna go out and you're gonna shovel shit, actual shit. There's because manure, shit, it's building up, and we need someone to shovel it. Or you're gonna be a professional baseball player. No, wait, no, wait, no. Before you answer, because I know you're probably confused right now. But before you answer, the guy who with the shit shoveling job, I'm going to pay you $30,000 a year. Or the baseball job, and you're going to work 40 hours a week plus. The baseball job, well, you're going to play out in the sunshine during the day, 3 days a week, and I'm going to pay you $50 million. Which one do you want to do?
I got two fucking questions. One, what fucking baseball team are we talking about here?
But you get my fucking point. The fact is that this is what's wrong with fucking Earth. The worse the job is, it's like the no one wants to do, the lower the fucking pay is. Yet, who's gonna not be like, oh yeah, I can make millions of dollars doing something that I did for free when I was fucking 6. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
It's
that's
like
why they pay trash people so much money, is because those guys are making like $20-something an hour, or $32
they
upwards
ain't
of an
making
hour.
what LeBron James is making.
Doesn't fucking matter. Make it more than what I'm making. All they get to do is pick up trash all day, and I have to worry about a
Well, there,
supervisor over their
put
head.
your fucking app in, man. Put your resume in there and start. Yeah,
I don't want
be
to
like,
smell like, it's like working at a seafood restaurant, though. You just smell like fucking shit, and you always have to shower 24/7. I'm like,
but that's my
no,
point. Who wants to have that fucking job? That's my point. You know what I
somebody's
mean?
got to do it.
Yeah, but somebody's got to do it, and someone will do it. But again, it's like that. That's the shit though that pisses me off. Where it's like you said, why I brought that up is just like what you said. It sucks that we can't do the things we want to do because a lot of times we end up doing the things we have to do because we have this, vision of what success is. You know what I'm saying? Especially being a young guy and you're dating a girl. No one's gonna be like, I guess no one. I'm generalizing, but how many women are you going to be like, hey, oh, hey, Tom Holland kid, you're cute. And you're like, what do you bring to the table? I'm fucking happy. I'm a happy guy. I got happiness. I'm a good man and I'm happy. Well, you're gonna probably lose that chick to a guy who's got a better car, better job, and be like, I'll take you to dinner and buy you a fucking pair of shoes with red bottoms. And that's what's fucked up, you know? And now, granted, as women get older and stuff, men get older, priorities change and stuff like that. But society, Instagram, everything is telling you it's all about what you fucking, where you go, what you're doing, who you're hanging around with, what you're wearing. And again, why I like my whole arm wrestling thing, none of that shit is brought up. No one knows how much anybody makes. What you know,
Well, none of
we're
you guys
all
are doing it to make a paycheck. You guys are just having fun,
exactly,
competitive stuff. I mean, that's the cool
exactly,
part is a bunch of people getting together and doing something they love. My biggest
exactly.
questions are like, I'm just afraid I can never arm wrestle. I watched a Tosh Point oh video where the woman popped her arm out of
Mm,
socket. And ever
mhm,
since then, as soon as the gloves start or whatever you want to say, the bell rings and you guys start
mm.
to go, my
Yeah,
arm just goes weak like a fucking fish because I just don't want that ever to happen. But I get it, man. I really do understand it because, like, even professional foosball, all these other types of things that are out there, it's like, who the fuck would do? It's like, you understand how much fun that is. It's like
yeah,
playing, community soccer at a league or something, or whenever you're involved in a team. You're not getting paid for it, but you're having fucking fun doing it.
yeah. And again, shouldn't that be what life's all about? You know, I love the movie Fight Club. You know, because in that movie, there's so many good fucking quotes, man. That movie changed my life. Like I
You
said,
just want to see Brad Pitt with his shirt off.
that's a huge part of it. That's a big part of it.
It's like most
And
of the
that's
movie.
Yeah, and that's why I went initially based on the trailer. Little did I know how much that was going to impact my life. Like hearing lines like, "This is your life, and it's ending 1 second at a time." We work jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. I'm like, holy fuck, that's like me, you know. And it really made me rethink things, really put a lot of things in perspective because it is true. And when you're young, you don't think of mortality. You know what I mean? You don't think of the end game. You don't think of, the things you start to think when, you get older. And I try to not think that, think I have a hat on, but, I have luscious, beautiful hair like you do. And and it's one of those things where people say to me all the time, but you have such a young demeanor, like what do you do, like you're 44, what the fuck. I got guys that work, are on the team with me, and they're like, bro, you look like I look 10 years older than, what's your secret? And I give them this quote and I say to them, if you didn't know how old you are, how old would you be?
Yeah, time is irrelevant. It's a constructed thing by man. What's weirdest
Mhm,
thing to me is when people
mhm.
go, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm like, tomorrow's irrelevant. We're never getting there. Tomorrow is
Yeah,
known for future tense. It doesn't mean anything. It could be the next day. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to be the present. So when are you going to actually start doing it? And it's people's excuse to keep saying, I'll just do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. Well, it's
mm,
fucking 30 years later. You still haven't done it yet. It's like,
yeah,
it really sucks because I think it's all because of the world, man. They put this unrealistic expectation on you ever since you're a little kid of what you can become, what you can do, what the world has already set out for you, and all these types of
yeah,
things. Like you have to get a paycheck, have to get a good job, have to get a college degree. Well, guess
yeah,
what? There are people playing fucking video games that are making billions of dollars, all because
yeah,
they did something that people wouldn't think would be possible. And that's the craziness of the world, is the fact that to be happy is a crime, but making a crime is the money. That's the weirdest fucking thing.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I completely agree. It is because it's so, like you said, because if you're not at a certain thing, it's like you feel like, you know, um, again, based on where you're at, where your generation is, where, how old you are, you feel like you can be labeled as a failure, or it's very easy to be, or, oh, well, you're not doing that. You're just you're doing what? You sit and talk to people. Well, how much, and everyone's saying, how much money do you make from this? And the answer should be, how much do you love it? How much life are you getting from
I'll give
this?
you a really, really good example. Before I started this podcast, my dad owns a radio station, and he said,
Oh,
"You're
really?
starting a podcast. Good job, good job." He's like, "How about I do this? I give you your own show, give you your own segment. You get paid to do it. You just got a little script you got to go by, but then you can still do the thing. And I'll get you great guests. I'll get you famous people, whatever the hell you want." I said, "Nope." And he asked why, and I said, "Because then it wouldn't be mine; it'd be yours.
Mm,
And then at any moment you can come in and add something in there." It's a big thing with podcasters, like even with Spotify with Joe Rogan, you hear about him getting canceled or something.
Mm.
They had just signed a licensing agreement. Joe Rogan can still do his podcast. It just would never be on Spotify, even if that cancels him out of there. It's because once you sign that agreement, you let somebody take you and help you get the pool that you think is all this flashy shit. I'm going to give you a fast car and everything. Well, guess what? I still hold the keys to that car, and I'll tell you when you can use it. That's the line that gets fucking drawn in, and that's why I never accepted. I said, I'm going to do this on my own. I'll build it up where it goes. I never started this thing to fucking make money off of it. I started this thing because meeting people like you where a fucking Power Ranger. Are you shitting me? I don't know why you don't put that on your resume. That knocks out any fucking PhD with one of them karate kicks. But like it's that. It's like my education through school was nothing. And then
Mm.
starting this podcast from to where I'm at now has been everything. It's like, fuck, my mind has completely aged where I can be super serious or just joke around. And that's the fun part about it is it lets you know sometimes when you need it that the world isn't so cold, because a lot of the times we're getting shown it is very cold. And there are
Yeah.
people out there that are doing something. And there are people out there that are intelligible of having a conversation, but we just choose to neglect that.
Yeah.
Most people.
But there's also plenty of people that you can't talk that are fucking idiots. And unfortunately, you can't talk to them. And again, communication is it's 100% talking. It's also 100% listening. You know what I mean? Being a good communicator. People are like, well, I'm really good at talking, but can you fucking listen? Like, and again, another Fight Club line. There's a line in Fight Club where like when you have cancer, people actually listen to you instead of waiting for their turn to speak. And a lot of times when you're talking to someone, and even your best friend, and they look like they're intent. They're in their mind. They're going, all right, I'm going to say this next. I'm going to say this next, as opposed to really just being like
a dog with a fucking biscuit on its nose where
yeah,
it's like,
I don't want to just talk. Just let me hear what you have to say. And again, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, dude, with the fucking earth sucks to me right now. And, and it's not because, and I talked to another guy on a show about this stuff. And he brought me on to talk about my view about politics and stuff like that and everything. And he knows because I'll just like fucking lay it out there. I really don't give a shit. But it's one of those things, no matter what side of the fence you're on, I'm speaking specifically Trump and Biden right now, it's like the other guy thinks the other, like your guy, whoever your guy is, you think your guy's Captain America and the other guy's Thanos. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, there's not like, it's like, and I'm looking at it going,
You're both kind of Thanos.
you're kind of both, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you might say, again, why can't I should be able to, yeah.
Well, you know what TV show really represented that perfectly that came out? Cobra Kai.
Oh,
That
yeah. I
fucking
need to catch up
show.
on that. I only saw see.
Well, yeah, that show, for instance, I mean, it shows everything. Like, oh my God, this is happening this way, and he's thinking of it this way. It's all that whole thing. That's my whole stick. Understand another person's perspective. That
Yep.
fucking insight into that, even though you think you're 100% right, step back from the ego a little bit and just hear that person out and then see, oh, you're seeing it this way. Like it's so hard to get into an argument with me because like I'm looking at your perspective, like, oh, I see how you're seeing that because it's coming off like this. Most of the time, that's why I sent you a voice message instead of a text.
Yeah,
When
I
I
like
first,
it.
because
Yeah.
the whole aspect, I sent a text saying, hey, you want to do a podcast? Let me know. It's only an hour. That can come off pretty fucking rude sometimes. And it's
Yeah, see, but
happened
I'm
in the
like you
past.
though. I literally said what you just said in my interview on Friday because he said, "What's your biggest strength?" I'm like, my ability to truly, genuinely put myself in another person's situation. The reason I'm so good at customer service is because when a guy's like, "But dude, blah 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 blah," I said it's so easy to label that man a jerk, and you don't realize earlier that day he found out his kid has cancer. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, the guy who's complaining about, look how far away my parking spot is. There's a guy that would do anything to just have a car, or have, get into, I don't want to get all deep, but you're talking about how far you had to walk to your parking spot. There's a guy in a wheelchair that would be like, I would love to be able to walk that far. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not trying to make it all morbid, but it's fucking true, you know?
Immediately, I just pictured an old guy sitting in a parking lot in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Damn,
But you know what I'm
that's gonna
saying?
be on a motivational poster for sure. I do know what you're saying because I've had encounters where I see somebody freak out in a store, and I just look at them like, "What the fuck happened in your life that happened?" And that's from taking psychology classes, where I was like, "Oh, understanding how the human mind works. A lot of the times, what builds up into us is our environmental influences for sure." Man, you just got to have more perspective. I think there's a lack of empathy, obviously, in the world,
I
and I
always
think
that
it
I
gets
say the same thing all the time. There's a huge difference between sympathy and empathy. I use that word empathy all the
That's what
time.
I'm saying. The sympathy thing is a huge one. We've replaced the sympathy thing, or we replaced the empathy thing with sympathy, where every time
Mhm.
you talk to somebody, it's got to hear like a million different things to feel sorry for. It's like, well, why?
Yes.
We should never feel sorry for somebody else. I
Yep.
understand even if a situation happens, but it's more about understanding the perspective of that person and being able to help. Not feeling sorry doesn't do shit.
Well, the other thing is, it's okay. There's times where I don't want to get a fucking pep talk. Again, when I'm having, like I said, the last year of my life, going through my fucking savings, looking for jobs that I know I'm way overqualified for, and I'm not because I'm fucking great. I'm happen to be overqualified for that particular job, and hearing nothing back. I'd rather my best friend tell me, and he does, thank God, but my friend tell me, bro, that sucks. That fucking sucks. I don't know what you're going through right now, but that fucking sucks. As opposed to, well, I remember when I remember, blah, 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 and it's okay. Don't remember tomorrow going to be a better day. Fuck you. I don't want to hear tomorrow's going to be a better day. I want to hear you right now say to me, fuck, dude, that fucking sucks. If you want to cry, do you want to have a fucking drink? Do you want to smoke? What do you want to do? And I go, I'm okay. Thanks for listening.
That's literally I've had that happen on my account, and then someone else doing that, and I just sat there and listened. I feel like a lot of the times you hear when you start, talking about something bad. Oh my God, this just happened. People are like, "Oh, that's crazy." You know what happened to me? And then it's like, "Fuck!
Mm-hmm.
Why does it gotta be about you for a
Yeah.
second? Can you just listen to me and hear?" That's all people need is to get that little quick thing out, and then usually it's good
Yeah.
to go. But then we put it in a
Yeah.
Facebook post or something, and that's false help, I call it, because like you get one like, great. Then you post the next day. Then you get 3 likes, 4 likes, 5 likes. And then by the end of the week, you post again about some other shit that happened in your life, thinking people are going to care. Nobody likes it. You end up wanting to kill yourself because you're like,
Well,
nobody cares about me anymore.
but here's the other thing why Earth is fucked up too. Here, you do me a favor, do this. Anyone who's listening, do this fucking experiment.
I'm going to rewatch
Fucking make.
Power Rangers when this is over, by the way. Just let
I
you know.
hope you do. Just keep your pants on. But here's the
No
thing.
promises.
I don't blame you. My butt looked good in this, but my butt still looks good at 44. But 21, my butt was tight. But it's one of those things. You do this experiment. Go on Facebook. Don't say a fucking thing. Do your update your status with a fucking smiley face. You get like 3 fucking likes. Wait a month just to give some time. Update your status. Just put the fucking crying eye, the smiley face with 1 tear. What's wrong? Are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. The reality is no one cares, but what they're hoping for, and maybe you call me sadistic, but what they're hoping for is maybe he's as miserable as I am.
Yes. People
You
feed
love
off
it.
that shit.
Yeah.
That's what the thing, like, if you notice what stopped playing, where I think this is a lot, this kind of ties in, all those starving kid in Africa commercials.
Yeah.
Now everybody's fucking miserable because I don't think they're playing anymore. It's like you don't even see the SPCA ones where you're like, at least I have a home and that dog doesn't. It's like
Yeah.
they make you might feel sad, but like when those commercials used to play of people starving in Africa, I feel like the world was a little bit happier because everybody was like, at least my life isn't that shitty. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. The little
ah.
black kid with the fucking flies on his face and shit like that. That never bothered me. The only one that made me emotional was the one where it's like the puppies
Sarah
and
McLachlan.
yeah, and the arms of the angel. Yeah, every time I'm like, I can't watch this shit. Like I can see people being tortured, like everything like that. But I see like a fucking cat with a limp. I'm like, oh my god, please, Jesus.
Best example is I Am Legend when the dog dies and everybody in the theater is like, no, and then everybody else is dying. They're like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, the whole world's dead, but you're like, finally the dog dies. You're like, oh my god, those motherfuckers. Like, oh my god, dude, that my wife. The first time I put John Wick on, and you've seen John Wick, yeah, with Keanu Reeves. You never seen John Wick? Oh, dude, fuck, don't watch Power Rangers. Watch John Wick after this.
I don't
Um,
really watch any Keanu Reeves movies because I fell asleep in The Matrix, where it's like one of those sleeps where it's like feels like 10 years, but it's like
yeah.
5 minutes. So
Well,
The
no,
Matrix seems like
I'm
12
not a
hours
big.
long.
I think the Matrix is great for what it stands for, but dude, John Wick, he's a fucking badass. But the movie, they kill his dog, and right at the beginning of the movie, and my wife was like, he just gets a brand new puppy, and these fucking guys, hitman, come to send him a message and kills it, and that's what sets him off. And my wife was like, I can't watch this, and I'm like, that's the only like. you know, but yeah, but again, she's the same. She's like, you can watch the rest of the movie where he kills everyone, like literally everyone. Everyone's dead. But she was just like, yeah, fuck yeah, kill that motherfucker. You know, where kill the dog. You're like, what the fuck did he do? And I'm
It's like Bird Box, for instance. Like the first
yeah,
10 minutes, I was all into it because everybody was just walking out in front of traffic and shit. And then next thing you know, it's just an hour and a half of bullshit. And Sarah, and what's her name? Sandra Bullock's looks the whole time. I'm like, I don't want to see her in different moods of angry. It's the same fucking anger face, just in different tones.
yeah. Like, I've never seen Bird Box. I've never seen Game of Thrones. I've never seen Breaking Bad. Never seen Walking Dead.
I'll give you two movies that are going to correlate to life real soon. One, I Am Legend with
Yeah,
coronavirus. There's going to
yeah.
be a fucking cure that comes out. Everybody's going to get it like I Am Legend, and then they're all going to turn into zombies. So I'm saying just wait 6 months.
I hope that happens.
Just
Yeah.
6 months. I mean, that's fucking scary zombies. You want to talk about being afraid of daylight, but then they track your ass. That's why he's
Mm.
bleaching the steps because they're smell. Fuck, that's smart. And then another one that kind of correlates to life a little bit. I'm Legend. Fuck, what was the other one? The Happening. Same thing.
Oh yeah.
Plants are fucking killing people.
Yeah,
That
I
and
actually
we're
just watched that recently the other day. It came on, and I watched that.
But they were social distancing in the movie. If they got into large groups, they all started getting suicidal. I literally was at the gym and I walked and there was like two people by each other, no mask or anything. And I walked like by them to throw something away. And I was like, you know what's weird is that this issue bothers me. Like I'm going to suddenly get sick now. And I'm like, why? What the fuck is that? I was like, oh, it's been trained into us now. They're programming us again.
Yeah. Well, again, that's why it's called television, tele-vision. It's called TV or called programs on purpose. Again, yeah, like that's a whole nother rabbit
And
hole.
know what? And no one station was supposed to own everything because that is
Yeah,
called manipulating the media, which happened with a dude who owned like 8 different newspapers and kept printing all the same shit that was to his
yeah,
viewpoints that corrupted the whole fucking world. Same
yeah,
thing. Dish just got bought by another fucking network company, so now they can't play like certain news corporations. And I'm like, now
yeah.
that's all their channels and shit. I was like, as if you just watch CNN all the time, you're all CNN. You're nothing else.
Yeah. Again, that me and my wife were talking about that yesterday. Like, how fucked up is it that you got, depending on what news you watch, you get a different story? Shouldn't it just be like, this happened? The guy was wearing a red shirt. He had a fucking, blue car, and he hit the black dog. But depending on what you're watching, you got, a black dog attacked a guy. Or you know what I'm saying? It's so fucked, man. That yeah, it's fucked.
That's
I don't know
why
what to think. I don't. Like I said, I don't know what to think about anything other than that's why I'm just. I do. I got my pull up bar behind me. I just do pull ups
Are
and
you
that's all.
worried about when like the COVID restrictions with arm wrestling and stuff? Like I know you're not worried about COVID per se, but how hard has
I'm
it
not.
been
Yeah.
able to be able to do that?
I mean, with our local groups will be able to do that. They just unrestricted, like here something in Nevada. It was like limited to 50 people, and now it's like 250. So I mean, again, normally, we just had a really big practice because we had a famous arm wrestler, Sarah Backman, who is a 9-time world
Yeah, you
champion.
mentioned her.
Yeah, she's a 9-time world champion, and she came to our practice. And I'll tell you, dude, I I mean, everyone, if you know Sarah, you look her up, she's gorgeous. And I'll tell you, and everyone knows she's strong. But she ended up, I mean, she was just such a sweetheart. She got my sense of humor, which I loved. But man, was she, dude, she's so fucking strong, dude. Oh my God. I'll say this. I have never had even a guy under 200 pounds be able to. Now, granted, I was letting her in arm wrestling. You have like you're either offensive, defensive. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying. Anything off the center, you're either going offensively, into your power, or defensive into theirs. And I'll tell you, dude, I was letting her kind of tee off on me, and I could not stop her hit, man. I mean, I could not. I mean, if you see Sarah, we're about the same size, so she might even be a little bit taller. I mean, she's jacked. But man, I told her, I said, man, I will never say someone is strong for a woman. No, she's just strong. Dude, that woman whooped on all of us, dude. And man, is she ferocious. Man, she has power, And it's weird though. I'll tell you, this is weird. And it was weird to me. And again, maybe this is the old fashioned part of me, but it was weird to me. Like when I was trying to hold her, you know what I mean? And she would, but it was weird to me though. There were some guys there at our training, that were like, and even Sarah even said this. She was like, "There's guys, like big guys, trying to get every advantage." And she was like, "Guys, I am a girl." You know, even she said that, and I thought it was really weird because again, I love arm wrestling, but it don't fucking define me. If you in training, I let everyone hit me. You know what I mean? Like if you were to go, "Hey, dude, teach me so I don't get my arm broken," I'm I'm never going this way. I'm letting you. You know what I mean? I'm letting everyone work. And it was really surprising watching some of the guys trying to get every advantage. And I'm like, it was weird. I'll just say that.
I look at it like, I guess it's because it would be, you can fight from the feminist point and be like, what, just because I'm a woman, or
Mm.
you should take it easy because I'm a girl. I'm like, first of all, if I'm in a challenge like that, gender doesn't even cross my fucking mind. At that point, I'm like, I have an ego. I don't want to fucking lose this shit. You know what I mean?
See,
Like,
and,
it's
and
that.
and that's an interesting to hear that perspective. Like I said, I would, but at least you fucking said it. I don't like the people that aren't saying, "Oh, and I'm like, you know," or someone said, "Oh, Sarah beat you. I bet I could beat you." Motherfucker, bring your cash, bring your fucking money. If you're gonna judge my performance on what you saw in training, we're practicing.
Oh,
You
if
know
it's
what I mean?
practice, that doesn't mean shit to me.
It's training. It's not a match. It's training. That's what I'm saying. She joined our training, and we're having, you know, we're again that's how you know you. There's a rule in thumb in arm wrestling where they say the senior guy or the stronger guy holds, the weaker guy works. Meaning, I'm not gonna. You get nothing. It'd be like sign up for a martial art class or we play basketball 1-on-1, and you're like, "Hey man, I want to learn how to play," and all I do is just fucking dunk on you. How long? You're not going to stay very long. You're going to leave. Or you sign up for a karate class, and the guy's like, "Hold the pad, pull, pull, pull." What'd you learn today? And you're like, "How to get my ass kicked? Come back tomorrow." You're like, "No, I probably won't." But
Karate, not in here.
yeah,
Karate in here.
karate, no, yeah, karate never here. You know. So yeah. Oh, you talk movie quotes. You're gonna have a hard time finding one I don't
I
know.
just look at it like, if I'm going to do something and I'm going to challenge somebody, I'm going to be in a match with somebody, and it's not practice, but it's a match.
I'm not talking
The
about that. Yeah,
there are
I'm
so
talking.
many people out there that would take it fucking easy on somebody because of the size, because of this. I'm like, I'm gonna try my best, because I rather, if I lose, know that I did my best, and at the same time, you beat me at my best. I fucking
Yep.
hate that shit when someone just goes, "Well, really wasn't trying." Well, then what the
Mm,
fuck was the point of doing the match, dude? Like, because then if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
taking it easy on me and giving me the win just to give me the win because you feel sorry, it's like,
Sure, sure, sure.
ah.
Again, I totally get that. Like I said, I'm speaking specifically in practice, where to me in arm, like for arm wrestling, you don't get strong going off. Like I wouldn't get strong, uh, just pinning you. Does nothing for me. But if I let even you know, there's a strength difference. But if I let you work, my arm is in this position. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still getting a workout, and you're able to also develop technique and power by being offensive. And like I said, it was just odd to me watching some of the men I train with, you know, like not giving an inch. You know, hey, if there's money
Well,
on the
there's,
line or
yeah.
something like that, it was just a little bit strange. I'm like, hey, she's here to grace us with our presence. Teach me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's about the,
Yeah.
you're about the experience factor to it.
Yeah,
Most
yeah,
people are
yeah, yeah.
just like, I don't really care about learning what the other person has to offer. You're about like kind of,
Exactly.
that's what I think
Exactly.
more the community aspect of things needs to be in the world, is the fact that everybody can get to a higher level if we all just work together to get us all there. I mean,
Yeah.
one rock might roll up to the goalpost, but what's one win if everyone doesn't win? You know what I mean? Everybody's working
100%.
at this one rate. I'm like, fuck it, let's all go together at the same thing. So
Yeah.
much easier.
Again, I call me crazy, but I like people happy. Happy people are good. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're happy, if you walk out of your house happy and you get bump into the dude at the gas station, if you're pissed off, you may handle that situation very differently than when you're in a good mood. Now imagine that guy's in a good. Two people in a good mood interact. Whoops, sorry, bro. Hey, bro, it's all good, man. Okay, cool. Hey, have a good day. Two pissed off people. Hey, but bro, what the fuck? Hey, what the fuck, bro? You fuck up. Now they're fighting. You know, again, my goal is I like people being happy. I'm a fucking lighthearted guy. I like to joke about things. There's people that just don't get my sense of humor. They're like, "Was everything a fucking joke to you?" Funny shit is absolutely. But to me, I like to. I think life's funny. You know, hey, I'm very, very capable, and I love it. I love having a deep, meaningful conversation where we're
You know,
like
it's
we're
funny.
talking,
There's a way you can make people happy with something you mentioned in the beginning, and it works with your hands.
which is
The brothel talk we were talking before.
oh, I'll become a professional masseuse. Is that what you mean?
Yes, I mean a massage therapist. She'll
Yeah, or I
massage
could
your
be
cock for money.
like a fluffer.
Think there's
Yeah,
a word for that? Hooker?
yeah.
You're a
If you,
hooker.
I'll tell you though, if they don't pay me, I can rip your dick right off.
How did you not catch that movie quote? It's the best movie of all time.
Wait, what is it? So, wait, did it actually a movie I never saw?
She'll massage your cock for money. I think there's a word for that. Hooker? You're a hooker.
I don't even know the movie.
Grandma's boy.
Oh my god, I've seen that. That's with the Frankenstein, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Dante.
yeah. I think I've seen that movie like once. It's not one of the. I've seen that movie like once. That was one scene I remember,
Oh
the
man,
Frankenstein thing. Yeah,
that is literally what I want to aspire to have a monkey that knows karate.
it's hard.
Something that could beat the shit out of me if I don't feed it.
No, but like like I said, it's the past year of my life has been strange, but it's also like I said, I got to travel, I've got to meet these celebrities and stuff like that, in this world, can I give a shout out to my my page at Las Vegas Arm
Yeah,
Wrestling?
dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you're on Instagram, Las Vegas Arm Wrestling on Instagram, if you're in the Vegas, and that's the cool thing about Vegas. E- Everyone comes to Vegas, you know what I'm saying? As far as
I've been
just
there quite a few times.
yeah, this is a tourist place. So if you're in Vegas, Las Vegas Arm Wrestling on Instagram or my name, I post up stuff like that. And you'll love the name. Speaking of the original talk, brothel talk, our team name is the Sin City Hookers. And why that's a play, obviously because of the play on name, Sin City Hookers. But in arm wrestling, you're either a top roller, which is this is your
Or
style, or
you're a
you're a
hooker.
hooker. Yeah, or you a hook, you hook. So we're the Sin City Hookers.
Then you fight the guy with a fucking hook for a hand, and you're fucked.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's the goal is being a good hooker in Vegas. It's not as lucrative as it might sound. There's other hookers that are making a lot of money, but they're not on the arm wrestling table.
Yeah.
Somehow, if I can hybrid that, that's when I make money.
Like I said, you're still working with your hands, just in a different way.
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine that you could hire a bunch of them for your team. How good would they be at arm wrestling?
What, hookers?
Yes.
Actual hookers?
Oh,
I don't know. I have to ask my wife's permission.
damn, she got a grip on her. Fucking slams you through the table.
No, but it is. It's a funny thing because, like I said, if people understand the sport and understand Vegas, it's a good name, the Sin City Hookers. Because there's another team there's a team in Canada that are called the Ottawa High Hookers, and Devin Larratt, who is like maybe the most famous. He's probably got like 1 million followers on YouTube. But Devin actually was kind enough to come out here in Vegas, and him and I got to talk, exchange numbers, and like again, he kind of got what my vision is, with the sport. Like I want to take the sport to a different place by making sure people know, like UFC. UFC years ago was told it would never be a real sport. You know what I mean? It's human cockfighting. It's this, it's that. And until people saw the Ultimate Fighter TV show and they saw exactly how much work goes into it, and it's funny, like I said, because we've been talking a while and we really haven't talked about the arm wrestling stuff, but which I was fucking excited for, but we didn't talk about it. But
Welcome down to the blank.
yeah, again, I get it. I knew that would be the case. But it's one of those things, man, where people don't realize how much training we put into it. You
Well,
know
how
what I
much
mean?
training do you put into it?
A fucking lot. Like, put it this way. I do about 10 workouts a week. And I'm on a program. I have coaches that I do. Shout out to Lachlan Adair and Giannis Amelin. They I actually just got my new program updated last night, and it's a lot, man. I mean, it's I do 2-a-days, like 4 days a week. I do a 2-a-day workout. I have out on my patio. You can't see it obviously here, but I have a arm wrestling table with a built-in pulley system. So the pulley system like mimics someone being across the table
Yeah.
from me, and gripping up with them. And it's like literally, like I said, yeah, my I have pull-up thing there. I like even at the toilet. I have these like little fucking dumbbells at the toilet, like that are shaped a certain way, and because it's all about making your hand, your hand and wrist strong. Like, I don't know, like my hand is like, when people grab my hand, they're like, this part of my hand is like way bigger than it should be, for a guy my size.
I
And
got
again,
big
it's,
forearms, but my wrists are too small.
my wrist, yeah, again, my wrist grew. If you see, this was my wrist bone right there compared to my hand. And then you see that extra shit there? Yeah. I mean, literally, my arms were like that when I was like,
I have an ape. I have ape arms.
you have long ass arms, yeah.
Everybody in my family's like 6'5", but I got my mom's a little bit of her genetics, and she's like 4 foot something. So like my wingspan from my left arm to my right arm tip to tip is like 6'4". So what I can do is I can actually stick my hands on the ground and put my knees up to my chest, and I can swing with my arms like a swing.
Wait,
But
how tall are you?
I'm only like 5'8".
So shit, your arms are like plus like
They're fucking ridiculous,
8 inches.
man. It's like, and my
Because
feet
you're
are huge too.
tip to tip. You're supposed to be the same size as your height, and like for me, like mine are like plus. I'm like plus 2 inches. My arms. Again, you need to be a good arm wrestler, man.
My fucking
That leverage is huge.
feet too. At my work, I used to do jet skis. If I wear flip flops, people are like, "Look at those fucking flippers. They help you move in the water." I'm like, "Yeah, they're like a 13 shoe. It's not my fucking fault that everybody in my family on my dad's side's giant."
See, dude, when I was a kid, I remember I wore a size 10 in like 8th grade, 9th grade, something like that. And I had relatively big hands. Like my hands, like I don't have long fingers, but I have really big palms. Like most guys, like I'm about the same hand size as a guy about 6', 6'4". Um, and but when I was young, I remember, people like, oh, dude, your son's got really big feet, really big hands. He's gonna grow into them. He's gonna be about 6'1", 6'2". Well, you know what they call guys with really big hands and really big feet? Clowns.
Damn.
That's what they call them. But like all that happened was I stayed 5'8" with big hands and big feet, and I didn't get any.
See, that's what I look at.
Taller.
And then my dad's like, because my dad's like 6'4", and he goes, I was 24 when I hit my final height. He's hit a giant growth spurt of like 7 inches.
I grew like at 23. Yeah, 23 was my last.
Fucking 2 more years, man. Let me just get above 6 foot. I just want to be able to feel what that's like to hit the top shelf of shit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I would like to be like a little bit. I'd like to be a little bit taller too. But yeah, I mean, like, I actually like the feeling of being bigger. I will say, because I was always so thin, and because I always had to keep my weight at a certain weight working for Universal, for years, because you're contracted. The weight you get hired at is kind of the way you have to stay. And you got wardrobe. I used to play Charlie Chaplin. So Charlie Chaplin, I had to be like, as thin as possible. So if you can't picture, I'll show you a picture. Show you a picture of me as Charlie Chaplin, because I know your face. You're like, what the fuck?
I'm just trying to picture you with the mustache.
I'll show you, brother. And
I want to see the Power Ranger pictures first. Let me know what I have to type into Google to do my own Googling.
You know what's funny with the Power Rangers, dude? Back then, I wish. Again, there was no. Every photo I have is.
Fuck! That sucks, dude. Oh my god, there was no like. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Everything was on Polaroid. I have Polaroids.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah, I have Polaroids.
That sucks, man. That just hit me too. The fact that it's not even all.
Can you see that? Like
a little bit, yeah. Oh wow, that is holy crap! You got the Hitler stash and all.
Yeah, there's me as Chaplin. But again,
it's like that to make it look like Hitler.
You could. I played Chaplin. I played Beetlejuice. Again, there's those kind of things where I'll show you me as Beetlejuice real quick. I mean, I don't know if you know the UFC fighter Beth Correia, but she's a UFC fighter, but she came to Singapore, and that's her and I. That's me
awesome.
As Beetlejuice. Yeah. So, but again, I had to keep my weight at a certain thing. So, I left in the past probably year, I put on like 30 pounds, and but it feels different though, like, because like I said, not all of it's muscle. I'm still relatively lean, but it's like one of those things. I feel different. You do get a different level of respect from a guy when you're like bigger. It's weird.
Yeah, I know. I come off with a very, what I would say, not masculine, but threatening thing. Like there's always that thing. I always tell people there's this thing around men where it's like, as soon as a guy walks into a room, immediately size him up. And then it's
Mm.
like it takes exactly 7 days until you decide that you want to eat somebody. So I'm like, if we ever got stuck on an island, my brain tries to figure out how I would figure out a way to kill you to survive. I don't know. I take weird turns that way. But no, seriously, like I don't have a huge threatening thing, but I like that because nobody can ever say I'm a good person or a bad person by looking at me.
Yeah.
I'm always just have this openness to it.
Well, again, people love the stereotype and everything like that as well. Again, that's what I'm trying to do with this arm wrestling thing. I mean, I know I probably look like a douchebag right now, but
West Side.
but yeah, yeah, but I want to take it out of the over the top, the oil drinking, toothless hillbilly thing that there's a lot of in our sport, and again, because once people realize how much we train, how much we put into it, like the investments, dude. I mean, I've spent thousands of dollars, man, on rehabilitation, cupping, dry needling, massaging, electro stim and stuff like that, because the pain you get from in like the first 6 months of training is literally unlike anything else. I have a friend in Australia that was a pro rugby player, and brutal rugby can be. It's like football without the helmet or padding. Then he did MMA, and now he's doing arm wrestling. And I was like, well, dude, you had that, rugby and MMA. And he's like, dude, I'm telling you right now, the pain from arm wrestling is worse than anything I had from MMA or rugby. I'm like, what? And I'm like, I thought it was just me being a pussy. And but it really is. It's like debilitating. There's times after a big practice, man, I'm like washing my hair and putting pressure on, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like like or I'll roll over at night sometimes on my arm without, and dude, I'm like instantly awake. Like I have to
When I had
take.
to switch from like working out every single day to even having the key to my gym, it eventually got sketchy because they started handing out like $5,000 fines if they started fining you.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so the weird thing was being in that gym, and then like cops would just show up to the front door, and my car would be parked out back, and they would just literally look inside, make sure no one's working out. So you're working out with lights off. Eventually, kills your vibe to work out. It feels like you're doing
Shit.
something fucking illegal. So it's like
Yeah.
fuck. And then eventually I just bought like a Smith machine for my garage and shit.
Mm,
So I was doing that, but those workouts aren't the same as being in a gym for me. So then my body started to realize how much pain I was in with the spine injury, where it
mm,
became an actual thing. So when I hopped back into the gym for the first time, everything hit me all at once. The gym, the strength, everything was so down, even trying to recover from it now. But now it's like my back is really like I feel it a lot more than I used to. Before it used to be like I'd be driving to the fucking gym in a snowstorm, 8 inches of snow in a fucking Holly Kia, or not Holly Kia, a Kia Soul,
mm.
fucking driving with the car like scraping off the ground in the snow at 2 o'clock in the morning. Cops are like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, going to the gym. And then next thing you know, it all gets kind of like moved into the garage, and then trying to go back to it now. Like my body's like, fuck, we haven't actually taken a rest day in 8 fucking, even like today's my day off. I worked out at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be, when this is over, I'm going right back to the gym to work out again. 2 a days. I've been starting to do those things.
Yeah.
It's just, I have too much energy. I got to get
Yeah.
it out somehow. So if I just do a podcast, like if I'm not doing 15, then my brain's like, what else are we fucking doing? I'm not sitting and watching Jersey Shore, the Puppy Bowl. Well, actually, I'll watch the Puppy Bowl. That's
Yeah.
really fucking good. But you really got to understand, like when I watch a sport too, even with video games, and you're talking about trying to show everybody that arm wrestling should be something like that. It really should. And I don't think in not maybe 5 or 10 years, it'll not even 10 years, maybe 5 years, that'll be an actual thing. That's going to be a legit thing
Yeah.
that's going to be involved in
Yeah.
professionally getting, because it, anything that's like that, anything physical, it doesn't matter if it's fucking yoga. That's sometimes hard to do.
I mean,
But
dude, there's on ESPN, man, there's fucking hot dog eating contest. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So, and like you said, professional curling and darts. And I'm like, why is this shit on ESPN and not, and, we're here training and everything. And there's times I always am like, dude, I should just fucking start bowling or something. Cause if I would have taken the last 2 years, the amount of energy that I put back into getting myself where I'm at in the sport, into any endeavor, I'd probably be not rich. I'd probably have money. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like putting that kind of focus or into any endeavor, or another sport. Where if I'm, dude, I'm gonna put this much time in doing darts, I'd probably be a world class dart player. But again, the difference in, if obviously when you gym, anyone who gyms knows this. There's no shortcut. Like because you're basically hurting your body, and then you got to wait for it to recover because it's not a skill-based thing. Arm wrestling, when people say, well, so is it a strength sport? It's a combat sport. Arm wrestling is a combat sport, not a strength sport, because if the stronger guy the stronger guy does not always win 100% of the time. The stronger guys don't always win. But the problem is it would be just like fighting. If you watch MMA, does the stronger guy win? Sometimes, if the stronger guy is also technical. But a technical guy will beat the shit out of any strong guy. And, I have guys that, because my gym that I joined to, shout out to Filthy Power Gym in Vegas. Brandon Allen that's our home for our Vegas team, Filthy Power Gym in Vegas. And there are guys that do deadlift 1,000 pounds, 800 pounds, 1,000-pound squat, and they get on the table with me, and dude, it's a cool feeling. They look at me like I'm from Krypton, because they're like, and then they look up and I'm like, yeah, that's good. And then they're like, well, are you trying, bro? I'm like, no, but you're pretty strong though. And they're like, what the? They'll look on a dude's face that can manipulate 1,000 pounds, but can't take my little arm like this. It's not little. What am I saying? Bro, what the fuck? It ain't little. But you know what I mean? It's cool. It's a cool feeling. You know what I mean? And just like, if you ever been put in a chokehold, like a jiu-jitsu, like rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like if my
it's
wife,
a chess match. It's
a chess match. Yeah. It's rock, paper, scissors, and just like in fighting, styles make arm wrestling matches, styles make fights. So, but you got to be strong enough in those things, in these certain movements, to execute that strength, So it's a really, really tricky thing. But like I was saying, it's not linear. Like if we were like, you and I were to go right now to be better at, in the next we have 6 months to learn darts. Or play the guitar. Excuse me.
Oh, fuck guitar. I'm gonna say I'll blow you away in darts.
You might, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Fuck, man. I'm pretty competitive. But you know what I'm saying? Or just to pick a video game, anything where there's no degradation to your body. You can literally do that thing all day long. Do you know how to juggle?
Bit, yeah.
Okay, but you can literally do it until you learn how to do it. Weightlifting, I'm like, dude, I need you to bench 300 pounds.
Nope.
You don't. It's fucking, because you don't just go, oh, I'm just going to keep doing it until I do it. Well, you're like, I'm good. Second day, I'm good. The third day, you're like, fuck, I'm tired. Fourth day, you're weaker.
I'd say, can I use enhancements? Because I can tell you one thing that can make a 50-pound kid bench 300 pounds, and that's fucking smelling salts.
Yeah. See, for me, like, I don't really train with them. Again, like one of my coaches told me with smelling, and I was like, every time I was going to the gym using smelling salts. But with smelling salts, your central nervous system takes such a hit.
Yeah, I found some at my gym, and somebody put a sticky note on it saying, don't smell it. And I smelled it because I just had to. I was working the front desk. I felt like I just smoked crack.
Yeah. Cool. Because again, it caused, you only have but so much central nervous system to fucking deal with. You know what I mean? So when you do a smelling salt, the only time I do them, I save them for competition. That's just long story short. Or if I'm like really, really, I didn't sleep well and I'm really trying to get a PR, because what I try to do, my program and training is around maximum effort, and a big thing a lot of guys fuck up in the gym is they're always lifting heavy and they don't lift fast.
I lift fast.
Yeah, you want to do both. That's the biggest thing, because think about it. The heavier the weight goes, right, the slower it moves. For instance, I don't know what you can bench, but let's just say hypothetically, just say hypothetically you can do 225 right now, just to make it super easy. I put on 135, right? That weight, if you just do one rep, that one rep is going to go up way faster than the 225 is, correct?
Yeah, well, I only do when I go up to a bench or anything that I lift, I make sure I can crank out 30 reps in a set before I even can put it down. So I do my max bench I can do. I never go to like just do one. I do make sure my max bench will be if I can crank out the 30 and then throw it up. So I could do a plate on each side, do 30 and then pop her up.
Yeah, so for me, I do like my like if I'm doing and I very very rarely conventionally lift. I do very
I'm
my
smelling the testosterone right now.
no, but I don't do much conventional lifting. I smell great. Actually, I smell like
You're a
really high.
cologne aficionado. He links it in. How does Robbie do it? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I am. I actually do. I have a fragrance thing.
I
But
read your profile, by the way,
good. I
so I
do. I
know
like I'm a fragrance guy too, yeah.
my segues kind of roll in. You just caught me off guard in the beginning with the Power Ranger thing, but
My
I
bad. I'm so sorry.
before
We'll
we
start over.
start a petition. First of all, you should have a petition that people can sign to be able to try and submit this to become something that we can broadcast on television. If I could see fucking Hoarders or something like Bar Rescue, I'm pretty sure I should be able to watch pro wrestling or pro arm wrestling if I wanted
Yeah.
to. That's fucking
Yeah. I mean,
ridiculous.
again, there are networks. There's the WAL does a thing with BR Live. It's a Bleachers Report Live, I think is what it's called, and it's the World Arm Wrestling League. There's another again, arm wrestling's huge in Europe. There's the PAL, which is the Professional Arm Wrestling League, and they do pay-per-view events. Again, this year everything's been fucking shut down because of the whole Corona thing. But that's usually where you go and watch. They have like a season, like a football season. The WAL has a season, and you watch the best guys go against the best guys and females in different weight classes. But yeah, like I said, for me, but what a lot, like I said, what a lot of guys make the mistake in lifting, in my opinion, is they become stronger at lifting, but not more powerful. For instance, if I can lift 135, bop, like that, right? But 225 is, ah, well, am I more powerful? I'm stronger, but power is force times mass times acceleration. In order for me to feel powerful, I need to be able to move. The ideal thing is to be able to move that 225 bop, at the same thing. Now I'm powerful. I got more power now. Do you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times guys are like, dude, my bench has gone up, but I don't feel any. They say I'm stronger, but I don't feel any more powerful. Sometimes it's, you know,
Because barely struggling to get the bar up is not going to create power.
yes, right, correct. You want to, again, like for me, a typical lifting with me for me is I'll warm up, and then I am trying to get to my 1 rep max effort as quick, whatever I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm warming up, and I'm like, where I'm going to, if I'm benching, I'm like, it's like everything I got. You know what I mean? And that's max effort. But then I make sure another time during the week I'm reducing that weight and I'm lifting pop, pop, pop. Like I do explosive sets of like 3 reps. So I do 27 reps total, 9 sets of 3 reps. But those 3 reps, when in a heavy day, are going to be 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? On speed day or a dynamic day, I'm putting the weight on, and it's going to be reduced by percentages. But then I'm going pop, 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 wait like 10 seconds. Pop, 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 wait 10 seconds. And that's how you develop power. Now, when you go back to your heavyweight, you can now imagine if I'm able to put that same kind of power behind heavier weight, all of a sudden my weight's going to go boop, 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 and go and be able to lift more. But a lot of guys get stuck because they lifting heavier, but it's getting slower and slower and slower. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm just trying to find a thing here to be able to promote your page and also be able to promote where people can find your training. Because I feel like half of the people right now are listening like, fuck, they're just talking about their workouts, which I'm like, I don't want to
Yeah.
dismiss that I'm talking to a fucking Power Ranger. And at the same time, you should be checking out his content as well.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I again, I always share when people come to our training. I share everything I know, and I want you to be better than me, because if you're better than me, then that's only going to make me better. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And I'm that person. I've had teachers, no matter in other things, and you can tell when they're holding back. You're like, you're teaching me, but you're not showing me everything. And to me, I like to be the guy that I want to show you everything. I like showing, and person's like, Well, what if they use that to beat you? Well, then they're fucking training better than I am. And that's on me. You know what I mean? And that gives, if I'm really motivated and they beat me, well, then now I got to get even better. So I got to beat them. And you know what I mean? So,
You like this show, just like we'll go back to the beginning of our conversation about the brothels. You like this show, everything. I like it.
yeah, no, but you know what I'm saying though,
I
man.
do,
It's like,
yeah. I think it's better. Like it's the same thing with a family recipe or something. People that die with
yeah,
a family recipe without ever
yeah,
sharing the secret or tips so someone else could have that information, then that thing is lost forever. Then what does that benefit anybody? It's better if we can
yeah.
just share the information that we have to be able to help maybe enhance somebody else's life. Maybe they might give some insight to create into your own.
Yeah. And especially the more infantile the thing you're doing is, you know what I mean? As far as the stage, the stage in arm wrestling, I can't be, or no one should be in it. And it is. I've been to so many different kind of trainings, so many different people. And, there's a really famous arm wrestler and his advice was, you just pin him. Well, okay. Well, yeah. Well, what if though the guy hits me out of position? I'm out of position. Yeah. Just pin him. Now, yeah, I guess that's what you should be doing. But you know what I'm saying? That kind of advice, especially in an infantile stage where arm wrestling to me still is as a sport, we shouldn't be holding back. We all should be working together. The community should all be working together to promote it as much as possible. Again, the cool thing is I have not had anyone come to the table, get on, and go, "This is fuck," and not say, "This is badass." Because if you like strength training or that thing, that feeling when you go, man, fuck yeah, I just beat my personal record. Well, now you have it against something that's fighting back with you, and it feels cool. You know what I mean? I like the feeling of it. That's I do. Devin Larratt says the same thing. Why do you arm wrestle? I just like the feeling of it. And and it sucks, man, because I'm like, there are times like I'm supposed to be resting right now, and
You just
I
want to train.
literally, I just want to train, dude. It's so fucking hard to rest, and I know your body recovers when it's rest. I mean, you can rate
You're
any.
talking to a guy who hasn't missed a workout in 8 years. I know what you mean.
That's fucking awesome, though. That's
Literally,
awesome.
I think the one time I tried to do a rest day, fuck, dude, it was nagging at me all day. I just don't. It's weird. I don't feel right without it. Like it has to be the first thing I do. I used to do a 24-hour fitness place. Now it's like I have to go in at 3 in the morning when they open up, which is like fucking.
No, I mean, no, not to be El Psycho, because obviously we both suffer from this fucking
I can't talk to
dilemma.
people without it.
Well, okay, we both suffer from this dilemma. So then I look at it going, all right, is there something like get to the root of it? Like, is this like, are we both subconsciously afraid? Like, if we don't do the workout, we're going to potentially go backwards, or, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm asking like to myself, I'm saying that, I'm speaking that out loud, but I'm saying it to myself just as much as I am to say
No,
it to
because
you.
once I neglect the demon, I would say it's like my level earth to get me through the day. I would say keeps the voices at bay a bit, like the little bit of the depression thing. Like I don't like talking to me before workout. I'm like, don't fucking message me. Like my Instagram since starting the podcast has blown up with like
Mhm.
DMs of random people from Australia and all these things. So like shutting that thing off and then not trying to touch it when I can get through this workout. It's like when people are messaging me about it is where the most confusion happens because I'm so legit angry. Like, stop. This is my me time. No, everybody knows not to text me during this. And it's nothing against that person, but it's just something you got to know. Like, this is what levels me for the fucking day. And if I don't have this, then I'm not going to be able to function properly. Like,
Right.
waiting for it all day or something. If I did it at the end of the night, it's that whole thing. Like I can't, sorry, I'm blocked off from this time period. Why? Because I have to do this because
Yeah.
that is that thing. It's the thing when you let it down or you don't do it, you're afraid that you might slack on it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There is some bit of like, there's some negativity that's kind of goes along with something that is so positive. But uh what's interesting, man, I forgot what I was going to say about that. But it's one of those things where this is what I was going to say to you. I find it quite insightful that you said as a young guy that you're able to identify that it's okay for you to say I'm depressed or I'm sad. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of times people don't want to say that, or because they'll look at it, it's like a sign of weakness, or, and I said on another podcast I've done, man, with all this COVID shit and shit shutting down, I love Las Vegas, man. I moved back from Singapore back to Las Vegas. because I love this city, and to see it shut down and not shut down, but it like a
Not be its
just
prime.
shadow of its old self. You know what I mean? Not be able to go out and not be able to do this and do that, and things aren't 24 hours. And, it's got to me, man. And on top of that, having no income coming in, my wife's working, and, I'm like, bro, give me a fucking couch to lay on so I can fucking talk about this shit, because it is. I'm like, to meet me and to interact with me, and and I joke around, you would never go, that guy's sad. And I don't like to say that I'm sad, but because in general, I'm a happy person. Again, I think happiness has to come from within, not your conditions, because we can both talk ourselves into a good or bad mood in 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? We can right now, we can be like, let's just talk about everything good going on in our life. Boom, we're happy. Let's go celebrate. Let's talk about all
That doesn't fix the
shit.
problem that's there, though.
Yeah. Or let's talk about all the shit we wish in our lives we could change. Now we're both fucking depressed. Let's go have a drink and kill ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that's extreme, but you get what I'm getting at. But I think again, the reason when you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, not that I've ever been there, but based on what you see, is you stand up and the first thing you say is, my name's Tim and I'm an alcoholic. Well, you got to identify the source of the problem, and I think that's a big thing that's missing with people, because no one wants to look weak, and no one wants, I don't want to offend you, and all this shit that people feel like they have to, adapt to this ridiculous society. And where I'm like, dude, there's so many, just tell the truth, you know, tell people that sucks. You know what I mean? No, celebrate people's victories along with them. These are the basic things, that I feel like people aren't doing anymore.
We're ending on that, Jason. That was fucking beautiful.
Thanks, man.
You write a book, please.
I've been told that. I've had a year of downtime. I should have did it then.
Call it What the Five Fingers Say to the Face.
Slap. Smack.
Well, we've been, please, dude, promote your everything, man. Your page, promote where people can find you. Anything you want to give a shout out to at the end here too, as well.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on Jason Latona on Instagram. My page I run is Las Vegas Arm Wrestling, or if you're on Facebook, the Sin City Hookers. Again, if you didn't wanted a classy name. And yeah, man, if you got DM me about like training advice, training stuff, and or just wanted to give a shout out or talk to me. Like I said, I always I'm pretty cool with talking to people as long as they're not weirdos. Even if they are weirdos, that's okay.
Talk to me for 2 hours.
Yeah. Has it been 2 hours?
Almost.
Like an hour and a half. I told you. I said I'm a talker, brother.
I like it, man. You mentioned the Power Rangers thing, which is amazing.
I shouldn't have said that.
I'm fucking like putting it in the title. It's going to go in that.
The whole episode would have been so different.
Nah, Power Rangers, man. Just remember, thank you for listening to Out of the Blank podcast.